Up, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Apex, the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, the regional final is done. We have our winner. We also have a great interview with the coach from Shopify Rebellion, Don, not to be confused with Dawn. He's later on in the show. And then we also have our heart-to-heart. But before we get all of that, we need
Who's
to take
later
a
on in the
quick
show,
second.
our Dawn or Shopify Dawn?
They'll have to figure it out. They'll have to figure it out.
Sorry. Okay, continue with what you're saying.
Just let me know when to show up again, I guess.
Before we get any further in this show, we need you to take one quick second to click the link down below and go vote for JHAWK for Analyst of the Year Esports Award. Our boy Jay has been nominated for an award. We got to get him in there. We got to get him in there. Take a quick second. Go vote for Jay. Plenty of other Apex people you can vote for, but you got to vote for Jay, friend of the program. He is, without a doubt, the person we've interviewed the most on this show.
Does it count? He's a pseudo co-host,
literally.
And it's been a while since we've had him on.
Fifth man.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had him on. But
I stopped bringing him on because I was like, we've had him on literally so many times. I was like, we have to stop.
Five stack this at one point. Do you have a graphic to have 5 people in here?
Yeah. Basically.
No, go vote for Jay. Seriously though, it was cool. It was cool to see him in there. So we want to see our guy have some shine, get a win there. But go vote for that. You can vote for that all the way up until November 12th, I believe.
Every day you can vote.
Every single day you can go vote.
Get lots of votes in there. Guys, how crazy would that be?
It would be so sick.
Because if we do break it down, I will say this. Jay has been a guest on a lot of broadcasts and everything like that, but I think officially he has only worked 3 lands. I might be mistaken. It might be there's 2 EWCs, Japan, 4 lands in LA. So he's only officially been an analyst on 4 lands out of Apex. If you were to already win an award, that'd be fucking crazy. And I think that'd be cool.
Well, I think one of the best parts of this whole thing too is that I sent it in our group chat and I was like, oh, hey, JHAWK, shout out. And he's like, wait, what? So he didn't even know he was getting nominated.
Yeah, he didn't even know.
So,
I guess we know how that works. They don't send you an email before hey, you're nominated for this. You just find out when the tweets go out.
Yeah. So super interesting, super cool for our boy Jay. Go vote, go vote, go vote. Now let's get to the good stuff here. You guys want to say anything to me?
Oh god!
I actually had an over/under of how long this was going to last.
That's actually crazy. So. Yeah, it was definitely the under. It was definitely the under. No matter what time limit you set there.
Yeah. I sent you a Discord message.
Yeah. What did my Discord message say?
I was charitable.
Listen.
I said you did it, Wyatt. Yeah, I did. I think that was.
I was actually very kind. Can you read my message real quick so everyone can see how nice I was?
Enoch says historical day for Wyatt. It's being cemented in history right now as we talk about it. Do you just want to say it, Wyatt? So I'll give you your moment. You can have your moment.
Shopify Rebellion has won Pro League. They've also won the regional final. It was a fantastic, beautiful day for my prediction. The first one I think I've ever gotten correct. Most notably, my other predictions were choosing Ascend to win the whole thing. They got 0 kills. They got 1 kill and 20th in the lobby. I said Sentinels was going to be one of the best teams going into EWC. They qualified by 1 point. I said Shopify was going to win EWC. They didn't make finals. I've had a lot of really I predicted Fnatic to win. I think the last regional final, they started off 19th and 20th. I've had some bad ones. It feels good to win one.
To be fair, if you were to go back and look at my predictions for certain lands and everything like that, I think if you went to EWC, I don't know if a single one of my predictions went to finals. Maybe one. I probably threw Falcons in there, but not Alliance.
That.
Yeah. I probably had Alliance Falcons in there, but if you go,
your Jersey curse in LA was second.
The Jersey curse was an insane one. And for people who quickly don't know what happened there, I had 4 jerseys, and every time a team was in end zone, I would throw on one of those jerseys. I kept swapping them while I was sitting in the crowd, and the teams would instantly die the second I put the jersey on.
I mean, Dawn has a Jersey curse that I don't think.
I was hoping we were gonna escape past that. God,
they real quick though.
They folded as an org immediately.
Shit.
Well, again, I've always talked about the fact I have 4 jerseys and 3 of those orgs aren't in the game anymore. But 2 were LAN winners. 2 were LAN winners. 50% chance you win LAN, 75% chance you're not going to have a team in Apex anymore.
Yeah.
You take what you want.
I got the VK gaming, all right. I'm going to stick to that till I'm done with this
that's
thing, right?
that's yours.
I mean,
you have that one.
That roster basically folded, didn't they? Or did one of them come back finally?
QQ's coming back.
QQ's
Relax.
coming back.
Stop
okay,
trying
QQ's
to bury the lead here, all right? Jesus Christ.
Shopify was your winner for the regional final. They came out on top. They won the match in match point in 7 games. They lost the overall points by literally 1 point. Exterminators actually was right there with the 82 points. We'll get to Exterminators here in a little bit. Falcons in third, Crivior Esports, and then Oblivion in the top 5. But I guess we can just kick it off with Shopify and what they were able to pull off and accomplish. I think there was a stat that they kept saying over and over and over again on the broadcast that Spotify had not won a game the entire split. They picked a perfect time to win their first one. So what you see from Shopify, Don, I want to throw it to you first. Wait,
is that a real stat? They hadn't won a
they said it
like
game? 1,000 times. Yeah.
That's crazy. to win Pro League without winning a game is crazy.
Insane.
That's baller.
They won the most important one.
They won Pro League with winning 1 game.
Yeah.
Fair.
The only one that truly matters at the end of it, at the end of the day. Don, what'd you see from Shopify?
Well, even just to add to your point too, I mean, until they won their game on match point, the highest placement they had in the game in the first 6 was 5th place. So they weren't even really that close to winning games either. They're probably getting into a final circle here too, but they just, I mean, their strategy is always going to be, and more often what you see with them is that they're going to pick up a ton of kills when when they are on their fighting game. And today, or not today, but on that day, I know there was multiple times Koifel was clutching up some insane moments. If you guys missed some of that, definitely go back and watch it, because it was 1v2s, 1v3s that he was winning to keep them alive. And when they're getting off to good starts with their fights and picking up a ton of points, they're a team that it just snowballs into some of these crazy numbers that you'll see. I mean, you just look through some of their games, and again, I mean, they're finishing, like I said, outside the top 3 or 4, but they got 17 points in the 3rd game with 13 kills, finishing 5th place. I mean, you just don't see teams that are able to consistently put up these big points and not, at least have a top 2 or 3. So their firepower is something special, and especially in a meta where so many people have talked about you have to get the zone quick, you have to be middle zone if you have any chance of winning. I think we really saw towards the end here that some teams were able to figure things out to play more edge and were able to pick up the points where they could. And again, just with Shopify, their fighting is so special when they're on top of their game. And again, they're just able to put up the gaudy numbers. Exterminators wasn't quite able to close things out early on, which gives teams Shopify, Falcons, to have these big games to get over the 50-point mark. And then from there, obviously that last game was insane, which obviously we can talk about. But I mean, again, it really shows just how prolific their fighting is as a team. And that if they get in the right situation where it plays out long enough, they're going to pick up enough kills to put themselves in match point. And then from there, it's just, can they win that one game? And today they were able to, or that day they were able to.
We didn't get our fairy tale ending when it came to this entire split. We had said that ideally the only thing that could make this split extremely exciting is if a team that was sitting outside was able to come in here and take the win, and we didn't get that. But we got really damn close.
And be fair, Exterminators, other regions it did happen. It did happen in other regions, actually.
Yeah.
Which it might have, I think Jay said it might have happened once before in Apex North. But the fact that it happened twice this time is actually crazy. But continue, because yes, the Exterminator story was wild too.
Yeah. The Exterminators, I was willing to give up on my prediction because I was watching it with Dawn, and I was actively rooting against my prediction for Same. Exterminators, which might be the reason why it came true now that I'm breaking this down out loud. I wanted it for Naughty so bad. They were so close so many times. There's some nightmare fuel games that they're going to have to look back on when Champs rolls around, because they were so damn close. But Jumbo, just looking at what happened with the Exterminators and some of the insane games that they went through, they got oh so close. And although it didn't come to that perfect storybook ending, they gave us something to watch from start to finish.
Dude, they were rolling from the minute the day started. And like, yeah, I thought that they were going to do it. And the biggest heartbreak that like you've probably seen them all tweet about is their World's Edge game behind Survey Camp. They go up for a Q, like with an altar up onto a tall rock. And I believe it was Jelly drops down into the fight and goes down. They still win the fight, but it allows the other team. I don't remember who it was. I know Liquid
it was Nano's team.
Yeah. Nano's team Cryor, because I know that they took out LG as well.
Dude, they were having a really good performance. Like it was just heartbreaking to see.
It was their game to win, and like even them saying like the Jelly play like maybe was what lost that moment. I thought they still might have had it. It's just like it was such a good play, and it was just I think the game moves so fast, right? And like they needed to kill that team no matter what. So it was so heartbreaking to see that happen. And then you think, okay, well, are they going to get a chance like this again? And it was a game or two later where they do on Storm Point, and they're prime position to win this game again. And Monsoon, or no, sorry, it's Blinkser from Oblivion with a fucking Kraber just kills Naughty. Yep. And that ends their run.
The next game after that. Yeah. Like, it was like the fact that they had that moment and then they still found a way to the very next game to put themselves in position. It's just like, it tugs at your heartstrings, man. And like it's tough to see.
At that point, I think they might have had like a 20-point or 30-point gap on the lobby, which is just it's crazy about how much the Shopify managed to come back, bring it with 1 point, but just about how they were so close to closing it out. And after like, like a lot of the roster things that kind of went on with everything, and like this team having like such an up and down year with their roster in general, and not having great lands and missing out a land by 1 point, they've been on the cusp every single step of the way this year, and it felt like it was their moment to finally get over that hurdle, and just to see it slip away into moments that were like 1-second decisions was absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was tough to watch. It was tough to you just wanted it for them so bad, because just knowing what they have gone through the entire season and then seeing it end like that. I was happy for my prediction. I was happy, but it took me maybe 3 seconds to think back to Naughty and the Exterminators and just be like, damn, they were so close.
I think they missed open finals by like 1 point. They missed qualifying for EWC LAN by 1 point. And then now they miss this technically by 1 point. It's more so one game, but like, yeah, just to be that close to like almost win it and then miss it. And so they got LCQ this weekend. The boys are saying that like, hey, we'll bounce back. But like, you know what? LCQ is looking like it's even getting stacked up. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, and LCQs are like a crapshoot too, because the style of game a lot of times changes. You're not necessarily in those same lobbies, and we've seen this happen many times. Unless you're just absolutely disgusting, like we saw with
Timmy Squad.
Dojo. The dojo. Then things can change for you. But yeah, it's always a crapshoot. You never really know what you're going to get. What were you going to say, Don?
I was just going to say real quick, I want to make sure that we do drop in the point of, like, I know we talked about it a little bit when Naughty was first IGLing. I mean, even from that point to, like, this regional final, he was absolutely incredible as an IGL. I went back and watched those first couple of games before I opted in for this. And, I mean, just the way he's commanding the team, putting them in the right spots, their util usage was so good. I mean, just all the little details that an experienced IGL would have, he was just on point, where I feel like one of his biggest criticisms he's had as a player is not necessarily having the most like calm, like just direct comms at times, where he's been a little frantic, but like everything he was saying those first couple games were just absolutely on point. And I just want to make sure like we definitely give him a huge shout out, because the improvement we've seen in the IGL department from him in such a short amount of time is not something you usually see at this level. And the fact that they were able to get within just 1 or 2 moments of qualifying for champs is just something so commendable, and just a huge shout out to them for continuing to bounce back from all the moments they've had so far this split.
Yeah, seeing their performance this split makes me basically be like, this is a team that should be at LAN. Like it's you watch a performance, you're like, that's a team that I think deserves to be there and to play. And like if you like were, I guess, to look at it over the whole year, I guess it's like no, because they only had one good split. They didn't play a LAN. They had a bad first split, but like the problem is they didn't even get their chance to play at that second LAN. And again, it's back to the format, and it's just it's the one thing where I've even wanted to like potentially tweet about this too, about the fact that I just think that this format is brutal, that you had a team just get 5th place in this pro league and do so well in your regional final, and they're not going to that next LAN. And it's I think it's unfortunate the situation they were dealt this year.
And I remember
to be fair,
at the time,
I think we've also like
no, go ahead.
I was just real quick. I was just going to say, to be fair, I think we've very much
I know we've talked
our
about
disdain
it.
Yeah.
for the champs point
Just once
system.
or twice, maybe.
Yeah.
It's
so
just like
yeah.
seeing that after, because like we talked about all these hypotheticals of why we were upset about it, and then like it kind of happened,
To
like
see it play out.
fully played out after, right? So yeah.
And I remember at the time when they didn't make EWC, we're like, yeah, that really sucks, but they're going to have, a lot more chances to kind of like show what they can do. And then it ended up not working out that way at all. And so, and because of the parts of this season that have made things so hard, made it to where they literally could never come back up for air. They were always just underwater throughout the
After
entire
they
rest
didn't
of the
make
season.
EWC, I never thought they had a chance. I was like, Wig came to Toronto, and I remember like he wasn't sure. Like I was explaining the champs points to him, and he like goes like, I'm like, basically if you're not in like these positions, you have no chance of making LAN. I'm like, you either have to win or you have to like win regionals, and that's it. And he's like, so LG's like just done, like they're not gonna make it. I'm like, no, they got no fucking chance. So the fact that they went and they had such a good pro league and came that close to coming through, I was like, I mean, like they didn't, but it was like, I'm like, this is what I was talking about before. Is a team like that who's been at so many LANs in year 4 and performed well. It was like, no, like their chances of getting there were so slim. The fact they almost pulled it out is such an impressive feat.
It's also, I think, for them really difficult going through a regional final where you were that close and then having to run back into a last chance qualifier. Like we talk a lot of, and like, listen, I'm not making an excuse for anything that goes down. Obviously, you're some of the best players in the game. You should be able to perform always. But I will say in football, in all sports, there are letdown spots where you just poured your heart and soul into something, and then now you got to go back and try to do it again. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. It doesn't matter the level of competition. Like it's just not easy sometimes. You see a team beat a big team, like a good team, in whatever league, and then they play somebody not as good the next week, but they struggle because it's like it's hard to get up like that again, and now they got to do it all over again in LCQ.
I agree. The only thing is, I hope that they're thinking coming into this, we're the best fucking team in LCQ. Because right now, with everyone's most recent performances and how they've been looking in the end of Pro League here, I would agree that they're probably the best team in LCQ right now. The only other team who's in a very similar situation and had a great freaking regional final as well would be Oblivion. They hit match point early too.
I want to talk about them.
They got 5th overall, and they had a chance.
They were looking good
to close it out. Like I thought they were going to do it, and like again, I would have been upset if Exterminators, like if they didn't make it, but I would have been less upset if it was Oblivion who made it.
Yeah, I'll throw it down to you for Oblivion, because this is a team on paper. You look at the names and you feel like this is a team that would have already been in position to go to finals. And then you see how they play, especially through the end of the split. Then they get in here. They do really well on regional final. They get the match point. They get to the very end, and it looked like they had a chance there, but they just weren't able to pull it out. Going into this, like you could see them making it in LCQ, right?
Yeah, I think that they have an incredibly strong chance, especially given all of the previous history and experience they have in Apex. I think that it's definitely not a stretch to say that Exterminators and OBVN, right? Or Oblivion?
Yeah, Oblivion.
I think that they're heavy favorites, especially given with how well they played against the best teams in North America. Now coming down into, well, I mean, low-key, sometimes playing in a worse lobby is actually harder than playing in a good one. So we'll see if they're able to adapt and to change and be able to handle the difference in play style that you're going to expect from playing against players who aren't as smart. But these are players who have more experience than most. And like a point that Wig said is that like he doesn't want to be at a LAN that doesn't have Monsoon and Fun. These are two guys that are basically like staples in the Apex community. And so I do think that they have a strong chance to make it. And hopefully they'll be able to put it together this weekend and make it happen.
Yeah, I'm super excited. That was another team Don can attest to that I started kind of chalking my own prediction for. I was like, dude, if Oblivion gets in, if Monsoon's in, I am so happy. Like that's one of those guys you want to see at any LAN all the time. He just brings the heat no matter what, whether it's on the stage or in the little fun videos they do while you're waiting for the next games. He's always bringing it.
Wyatt bought a complexity hat fucking watching them compete
I
in
think
Japan.
Yeah, I think I have it in the studio somewhere.
Complexity was leaving, and we knew this. He still bought the hat.
I knew that, and I thought if I bought the hat, it would turn the luck around. Didn't do.
The
It didn't do
CEO
that.
tweeted this. The CEO quote tweeted your ass. You said, "Thank you for your support."
Yeah,
Still left.
yeah, still left. They still left. But yeah, so those were some of the major storylines. I guess the other one here, Falcons, ZZ, they go head to head once again. They had minor skirmishes here or there. In the standings, technically, 0-1. Obviously, not all those points were his there. But I think he's going to use that, right? Like, you got to use that.
I was
You gotta
surprised
use
tweets
that.
didn't come out.
Yeah.
Like, no tweets came out about the fact that Zero got second and Falcon. Like, did I miss that? Zero never tweeted out, I did better, right?
The only real thing I saw was Zach just saying, like, you're welcome for the points or something like that. Like, there was some tweet from Zach about that. But, yeah, there wasn't really any big tweets I didn't really see
That's
between
fair.
Falcons and ZZ. But I will say, like, just real quick, like, Falcons, I think, obviously, I know they didn't win and they ended up getting third, but that was probably one of the most complete performances we've seen. And obviously, it's been a really short time with these guys, just a couple Pro League days and things like that. But I think overall, Falcons should definitely feel very good about that performance. I think they really only had the one game, which was pretty bad, which I think was like game 6. But other than that, I mean, they're one Hal Reed of trades happening up top away from potentially winning the thing and, potentially recognizing that's a 1v1v1. But while all that was going down, he was rezzing Walty. So, like, he just didn't have the time to really recognize like how extensive the trades were. But I mean, overall, like that version of this team will easily win champs if they're in the right position. Like their comms were really good. The fights they were taking really good. I mean, the first couple games, the zones were pulling completely away from their POI. And I mean, they were getting, 15 points here, 10 points there. And if they play like this come Japan, they will easily be one of the first teams on the match point because Hal was going insane. I think he was the kill leader. And then Walty and Guild were, 95% of the time, like absolutely on point. Again, the comms are great. So overall, Falcons should feel very good about this. And I think Hal even said it too in his kind of like towards the end of his stream, like, outside of one moment, I feel really good about the day. So big credit to them for, we're not really surprised they obviously figured it out, but it's cool to see a team come together like this and start to pop off right away.
Yeah, that's something I actually hadn't got to look into yet, is what happened on the Falcons side in that game. I was paying attention to a lot more of the Shopify stuff after they won. But, because I was so curious as to why he dropped off height. He was on height at one point, and then, he dropped off.
What ended up happening was that, they were trading. Walty had gone down and was at the low ground. He reses Walty. He's saying that they're trading, but obviously he doesn't really know the extent of the trades. By the time he gets back up, it is a 1v1v1 because there's both members from teams are going down. Kryvor was on the bottom with their last member behind a knockdown shield. And then it was, I believe, Zap was last up for Shopify up top. And he gets a few shots down, but then he looks down and sees the solo down there and he's trying to like clear that out. And by the time he really like recognizes like where everybody's at, he has to like move back because he's just like in the middle and not really under cover. And then when he gets to that cover, he gets Sparrow ulted because I believe they get like a res from Shopify. He gets Sparrow ulted. So his really only option was to drop down at that point with Walty. And so when he drops down, they obviously get the reset up top. And then the height team's always going to win that zone. So It was just, yeah, he didn't have that split second where he recognized it was a 1v1v1, because if I think he does, he obviously just takes the one against the guy up top. And if he wins that, it's like, even if it's a 2v2 or something down below, like they're going to have the high ground on that team. So it was just unfortunate, the timing of the res and all of that. And I think Guild even died to a pretty crazy thermite that I think, again, it was like Zap, I think, threw like basically on his forehead that killed him. So just a couple moments here or there. But again, I mean, watching that performance, Falcons is 100% going to be a team you have to consider a favorite for sure.
Yeah, no, it's nice to have IGL Hal back. It's nice to have him back. It's going to be fun to watch. Cannot wait for it. Was there any other storylines or anything you guys wanted to bring up about the regional final before we send it on down to Dawn?
No, but did we want to talk anything about LCQ briefly?
We can. You guys want to bring up LCQ? Let's do it.
The only thing I wanted to say is that, like, because of like how this all works, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, misremembering last year's LCQ. It's been a full year now, but this LCQ just feels strong because it's got a lot of pro league teams like in here, right? Like that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a strong one. And I mean, that's really for all of the regions around the world. Like, this is probably one of those LCQs that if you're ever going to watch one, this is the time to watch one, just because, again, you have a few extra teams that you just wouldn't expect. Even for like the Americas, we've got like Zach Mazer joining back up with the roster, so he's locked back in. But then you got, again, the teams we mentioned, Exterminators that looked really good, Oblivion that's looked better. We could even mention Cryvor Esports in there. That was a top 4 performance on the day in regional.
That's finals. A very valid take.
So there's a lot of teams that can really win this, and kind of like we mentioned earlier, like you mix these CC teams and these PL teams together, you just don't know what the lobby is going to play out, because it could be very sloppy, it could be very slow because these CC teams are trying to play a little bit slower. But the biggest thing is that like timings are going to be different for rotates, because CC teams aren't going to be rotating as quick. You're going to have these PL teams that, do they get a little cocky thinking they can just run through these CC teams? It's going to be one of those things that's very interesting to see how the dynamic plays out. I know format wise, just real quick, in case people don't know how it works, there's 40 teams that are going to be competing. And again, that's a mix of PL teams and CC teams. There's going to be 2 lobbies to start with. And essentially it's going to play out like it does like at a LAN. So you're going to have like your 2 bracket or 2 pools to start with. The top 10 from each pool will go to like a winners round 1. The top 10 from that go directly to finals. And then the other side, it plays out again, just like a losers bracket, where you have losers 1, which is the bottom 20 teams from the first day. And then you have a mix of like winning teams, losing teams that go to the last, basically losers round 2 to join the other 10 teams in finals. So again, just think of basically what a bracket stage looks like at a LAN. And that's basically what LCQ is. So
yeah, I'm excited to see KCP with Mazer. Like we saw what those guys were able to do with Cersei as IGL, and they were first place in Pro League, and then now they're getting much more experienced IGL, and I would put Mazer top 5 IGLs in me personally, and so I think that this could be and like they haven't had the most time to practice together, but if they're able to really just get on the same page, and the brothers can work well and play off of Zach's comms and do what he wants them to do, I think that this team actually, like, I know we talked about the favorites being OBVN and Exterminators, but KCP and then as well as Cryvor Esports, I would say that those two teams I would also put as like strong favorites, especially after the really well done performance from Cryvor. They had like a fairly silent 4th place. I mean, they were started heating up towards the end of those games, and if that ended up going a couple more games, they easily could have walked away with the W there.
I agree with all of that. I would just love to know why Zach maybe never joined KCP before. I wonder if they would have had a better chance of qualifying through Pro League through that, like if he joined earlier on. I think that like it just boils down to Zach at the time was. I don't want to just say like more options
Ego?
for. It could have
You
been
want to?
ego.
I mean,
I
you're
was not
just
gonna.
gonna.
Say,
He was ego and looking for a better option, and then he was like, you know what? This is probably the best LCQ team I can get.
well,
Is that where you're?
I was.
Were
Not
you
gonna
trying to
say
phrase
ego.
that in a nicer way than I just did? I mean,
Yes.
I just said exactly what you were feeling, but you
I
just
was
wanted to say
not.
it nicer.
What I was also going to say, though, is Zach also talked about trying to get onto the broadcast. So I was going to say, like, not even just options of playing. I think he was trying to find, like, options just, like, even outside of that. And that's what it was. But, like, yeah, it obviously boils down to, like, he was looking for a better team, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
But I mean,
I need. Oh, go ahead, Don.
I was just say real quick. I mean, we saw what KCP looked like when Cersei was IGL and playing really well. So you bring in Zach, who has, obviously more IGL experience. What does that look like? Obviously, how quickly can they figure that out? Again, I wouldn't consider them like the one or two like favorite. Again, I think that's Oblivion and Exterminators, but like you have to mention them right in the mix of potentially.
Yeah,
being
they're
one of
right
those
up
teams.
there.
Yeah,
I mean,
so.
dude. So it's either going to go really, really well, or it's going to go poorly. But I think I would love to see that team do well.
Me too.
Personally.
I need to see some
I'm
justice
biased.
in the world. Yeah,
I'm very biased.
I need to see some sort of justice. I need at least one of either Zach Mazer or Naughty pulling up. I need to see that at the end of the day, because if there's any two players that I think have been shafted the most from this entire process, I think it would be those two. So especially Zach. I mean, Zach, like, it's been bad. So I need to see some justice in the world. I need to see something happen positive for one of those two, preferably both. That would be the ideal situation. And then bring in Monsoon too.
Just get an extra invite somewhere.
Yeah. Let's just get more invites. Let's just get more. Yeah. So when is that going to be taking place for anybody who's getting ready to watch?
That is starting tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So,
Today,
yeah.
technically.
Yeah,
For some people.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Are we putting this out tomorrow?
Yeah, we're gonna try.
I was gonna say, I was like, it's 11:33, and I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. PSG.
Yeah. No, that's the goal. So we should be getting ready, and then it carries into Saturday, correct? Or are they gonna do it all in one day?
It'd carry into Sunday. So
carries into Sunday.
Yeah. So we'll have our first round basically is Friday, and then like all the elimination stuff is Saturday, and we'll have our final 20 teams on Sunday.
And then you have for those ones, is it just the winner? How many are going in from each
region will get the top two. So
top
we gotta
two.
get top 2 out of 40 in order to qualify. So
there it is.
But it's the last day. Like, I actually haven't looked at this, but I'm assuming it's the same as every LCQ. The last day is match point final. So it's winner of the match point final, and then person who's second with most points after that, unless that's the same person.
There could be some weird situations playing out.
And just saying, as a little nugget, Exterminators won match point final scrims today. That's all I'm saying.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, well, ladies and gents.
That team, whoa, hold on. That team, that team's been doing really well.
Yeah.
Sleeper pick. Low
Sleeper?
Is that that's the team with like Den and them?
No, Exterminators is Naughty's team.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Oh, I thought you said I misheard.
Thuggets. Yeah, he said a little nugget, and you thought of Thuggets, Dan.
Dude, no, that is exactly. I thought he said something about the Denver Thuggets, and I was like, "Yo, that team has actually been doing way better than I
They're
thought
gonna win the
that they
whole
would
thing
do.
now.
They're gonna win the whole thing.
Just because of this
That'd
moment.
be mad funny.
Imagine.
That just because of this moment right here. Okay, well, ladies and gents, we're going to send it on down to our interview with Don, the coach from Shopify Rebellion. It was an awesome interview with Don. He broke down the entire team, going through each individual player, his coaching style, some of the performances he's had in the past, as well as winning and how that felt for him, back in the day, and then getting ready for the future as well. So great interview with Don. And then after that, we're going to do the regional recap and then send it on down to the heart to heart, and then send you guys into LCQ. So let's hit a quick break and send it on down to Shopify Rebellion's very own Dawn. All right, ladies and gents, we got a very special guest for you guys here today. For the very first time on the show, we've got Dawn from Shopify Rebellion, the coach who just won the regional final. Dawn, how are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm fantastic. I'm happy. You know, it's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be here.
I love
Regional
it.
final and Pro League. Did we mention that?
Yeah.
And Pro League.
Yeah, the best of both worlds.
And Pro
yeah.
League.
And Pro League.
Let's make sure we specify.
We got to specify
Yeah.
that because there was one person on the show who predicted that before the season had even started. I don't want to point fingers. I don't want to name names, but there was one person who's maybe wearing a hat right now who did predict Shopify Rebellion to win the whole damn thing. Now that it's all over and you guys have won it, how does it feel, man? How are you guys feeling right now as a squad? There was some ups and downs, and we'll get into those a little bit later. But just getting across that finish line, winning this regional final, this Pro League, how does it feel, man?
First off, before I answer that question, I'd like to thank you a lot for your support and actually believing in our team. You know what I mean?
It was not a positive influence for your team. If you knew his track record and history of the teams that he has predicted to win, this is the only time it has ever not ended up being an absolute terrible detriment to the team.
We used to have a prize pick sponsor, and Wyatt, I think, went 0 for like 50 on prize
I went
picks.
2 and 22.
Man,
I went 2 and 22 in prize picks. So
that was maybe one season.
I made them a lot of
bang
money.
on when it mattered, though. He got bang on when it mattered.
No, this could be a turning of a new page in the book of Wyatt.
Don, I do have to be honest with you. I also did predict you guys to win. I believe it was EWC, and that one did not. That one, people were blaming me for the performance. So that was tough. You know, that was a tough one. And I apologize for that.
Yeah, might have copped the jinx, but
he tried to do it again. But hey, you guys overpowered it.
They say I'm the Jinx King. But no, all of my jinxing prowess aside, I did pick you guys to win. But I just wanted to go back to the question of, you know, obviously there was some ups and downs throughout the season, but just being here now with you guys winning the Pro League and winning the regional final, how does it feel overall as a squad? How does Shopify feel right now?
Well, obviously we're signed to a very great organization. They're always supportive of us. They're more than ecstatic and happy about this because we obviously had a really bad EWC result. But for us to come back and, you know, make a roster change and put the work in and actually perform, like, they were very happy about it. In terms of the boys, man, they're really happy, like, because we knew it was going to be a challenge. Obviously, like, moving away from MT and Zainu taking over the IGL role. His first time IGLing and picking up another controller player. We knew it would have been it would be a tough time, and it was, you know, that we would be lying if it wasn't, but we overcame, and that's all that matters, you know.
How much work was there behind the scenes to help get Zainu ready to like take over this role as his first time IGLing?
To be honest, there was a lot of work, and because of that, I thought it was a great idea to bring someone along with me before the start of the season, which was Luca, the former GG coach. I think in a lot of sports, like, there's coaches there isn't just one coach, or in any esport, I think there are multiple coaches. I think there is a reason for that, and I thought it'd be a great idea to bring him on, and it helped a lot with all the background help, especially with Zainu. Because it's like, I could do it at the end of the day, but at the same time, like, having two people focus on one thing, it's just like, it feels like we can never go wrong. You know, it feels like there's some sort of perfection, and he's one of the smartest people in the game, and it's helped me a lot, helped Zainu a lot. I've helped him a lot, and yeah, it was a perfect thing to do, and there was a lot of work in the background.
Yeah, like, for listeners who, if they're not familiar, at Germany, where, you know, when you guys were the space station, you guys had won, but then GG had an insane tournament.
Yeah.
A lot of that was attributed to JHAWK, and you know, he was one of the first, alongside other coaches, to bring in that Newcastle comp, which we saw in Japan go crazy. So we're jumping into like some parts I want to talk about later, but yeah, I wanted to ask you, what was that like dynamic between you and JHAWK? Because a lot of teams have coach, analyst, but very specifically, he was named as an assistant coach for the team, and he even says strategic coach on his Twitter. So like, you tell me, like, what's that like, the two of you in there, like?
Well,
this
it's
new build of the team.
we have a great balance. It's I don't, I don't know. The best way of explaining it is like I'm still here. I'm doing my thing. I'm still doing my job. I'm doing everything like I used to do. And if anything, we just have another person for me and him to go in the background, you know, and figure things out. For him to come and bring us new ideas, for me to bring new ideas. It's just another brain, another lovely person to help with the team, you know. And the more the merrier. Yeah. So I think it was a great idea to pick him up, and I think this wouldn't have happened uh without him as well as much as me, you know. So yeah, so it's the same old. It's just another person around us that has a lovely brain.
Now, when Zainu was moving into this role, it like just watching Shopify beforehand, you could kind of see that this was going to be something that was going to happen later on down the road, no matter where he was playing. It was just something that was primed to happen. He had the ability to do it. He had the ability to make the jump. But I'm sure there were still some things in his game when he first made the jump to IGL that you had to kind of coach out of him or try to figure out how to work it in a better direction for the team. What was some of those things that, you know, he struggled with at first when it came to moving into the IGL role?
I'd say the biggest thing he struggled with when he first moved to the IGL role was pacing himself. I think he's always had this issue where he would make a call or tell his team to do something, and he'd think someone's right next to him or whatever, or just call it straight away without a plan. And we really did focus on that during Pro League. And I feel like if you go to the start of our VODs, like of our first Pro League split, uh, of our first Pro League game day, and towards the end, he is a lot more methodical in terms of his plans and in terms of his calling. Like he'll make sure everyone's on the same page. He'll explain it a lot better, and then do. At the start, it's like he had the same ideas and he was saying the right things to do, but it's like he's saying it so quick and doing it so quick that it's so hard for his teammates to you know be aligned and be on the same page as him. And that was I'd say that was the biggest thing, because as you said before, Brody has always had that character to IGL. You know, he's always been a strong voice. He has a great personality for it. He has a great personality of being a leader. And eventually, I believe he would have done it as well. You know.
Yeah, it's super interesting because I remember after he had won LAN with Dark Zero, we had him on for an interview, and you know, he was much younger then, and we had him on, and you know, his answers were kind of choppy, kind of quick, and I'm like, yeah, you know, maybe you know, he's just Fragger, he's young, so maybe that's just
Yeah.
where his role is going to be. And then listening to the comms that he's giving out a lot of the times when he was playing throughout most of these splits with Shopify, you're like, damn, where are these eloquent? I wish I got these eloquent answers on the show, man. He can say anything and everything. He calls it all out. Do you think he has just like a skill set that just separates himself from the rest of the pack when it comes to ALGS and Pro League? Because I think there's some analysts out there who have said like he might just be the best pure Apex player in the entire league right now, even with, you know, Hal and Zero at the top. Like, what separates him from everybody else?
He is so good. He has always been this good from Dark Zero days. He's been able to play every single character. He's been able to understand it. He could get on a character and just understand it within 5 minutes. He is, when it comes to making the right play in an intense moment, he has a very good understanding of what to do. In every single fight, like there may be more flashier or more mechanically gifted players than Zainu. Like for example, I'd say both Koi and Zappa are better than Zainu mechanically, but he will always do a lot in a fight. He will understand what other teams are going to be doing. It seems as if he plays the game understanding what everyone around him is going to do. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes him so good. You know?
Yeah, he won his first LAN If he was playing whoever was the fragger character at the time there, but whatever, he won his second
I'm
land
pretty
on
sure he was
Watson.
on Seer duty.
Yeah.
Was it Seer? I
He
was
was on
thinking
Seer.
Yeah,
He was on
Seer,
Seer
right?
on the first
Yeah.
He
one.
was on Seer duty.
Yeah, Seer, and then like because like I think Zero was playing the Horizon, but still like they had him in the character because then like Jen was anchoring, so they
Yeah.
had him on the character to frag out. Then he wins his second land on Watson, like complete switch up, which is
Yep.
crazy. And then like you mentioned, I was listening to Scrims last week, or from a week or two ago, before regional final, and like exactly what you're talking about. There's a moment where Koi calls to push a team, and he's like, "Look, we're inting these fights all like it's after you guys died," and he says like, "We're inting these fights all the time." He goes, "We're always, I'm not opposed to getting KP." He goes, "But you got to listen to me when we have a spot like that. We got to close this out." And it's like kind of that pacing that you're talking about. I wonder if like beginning of the season, go look at that if he would have been the one to actually just make that call to end that fight first. So pretty cool to see the development there. But overall, with that roster change, even picking up Zap, you mentioned, Zap, Koi mechanically might be better than Zainu, but I feel like we're grasping at straws here. That is 3 of probably the best controller players in the world. What was it like when you guys were trying to choose like that third for the new roster?
It was I'd say it was pretty stressful in my end because obviously like parting ways with Matt was he wasn't only a player on my team, he was a very good friend of mine. So going with that whole thing, it was a bit stressful, and trying to figure out a new third. Realistically, we had 3 options that came to mind straight away that we were like all certain on, like me, Koi, and Zainu, and Luca. It was between Funk, Zap, and Guild. So we ended up trying all 3 of them. To be honest, at the start, I was the most fond of Guild, and I've told Zap this. I really wanted to go with Guild at the start.
I mean, he's clearly shown why, especially with these the ZZ Falcons interactions. He understandable why you felt that way.
Yeah, I really wanted to go with Guild, but when we decided to trial all of them and play with all of them, and I sat down with every single one of them, had a conversation with them, like roughen them up a bit, touch them up a bit, see where their head was at. You know what I mean? I really understood why both Koi and Zainu were fond of Zap at the start. And I actually changed my whole mind and my whole idea to Zap after all the trials and everything we done. We all sat down and we all agreed to Zap. The same with Luca, and it was great. It was great that we picked him. The biggest reason why we picked him was because, yet again, he was the most flexible, I'd say, out the 3. He also is a very calm voice compared to the 2, whereas Funk is another loud voice. Guild also has that trait of being another calm voice, which is good. But the biggest thing between Zap and Guild was Zap had IGL experience, so let's say if you could help Zainu on something, and he was able to play crypto, whereas Guild has never played crypto. And it came down to very small things, but in the end we went with Zap, and we're all very happy and proud that we went with Zap. It was the right decision, and we're happy we made it.
Yeah, because I was curious about the fact that, and like you said, one thing that stands out is Zap did have that IGL experience and that whole experience in general with TSM, which I thought was just perfect for being thrown into this roster. Again, it's dropping, having to replace a top IGL in the game, and he's now made that jump twice, even if he wasn't the one IGLing here. But the point that I was going to get at is that Koi, Zainu, Zap have all been seen as a similar role at one point in their career, and I was wondering if you guys were concerned about an overlap, right? I feel just the general Apex audience would probably look at that and be like, that's 3 fraggers on a team, how is this going to work? Not looking closer into the fact that Zainu could have made that jump. But yeah, was that overlap a concern? And I mean, you kind of even touched on it a bit there.
Yeah, well, with Zainu, right? I'll start with Zainu. Like you said earlier, on Dark Zero, when he played with Zero and Gen, I don't know if you guys remember, but Zero would swap the 2 of them and himself a lot of the time. The good thing about when Zero plays with the player, he kind of like roughens them up and sees where they play best or what role they perform in best. And Zainu played a lot of roles in his very short time in DZ, you know. And then moving on to SSG, he played anchor. You know what I mean? So I was always comfortable with Zainu and being able to just play any character, and you know, and IGL from most characters, because there's obviously a few characters that it's kind of hard to IGL, it's kind of hard to scout or whatever. We always wanted to put Koi in fragging role. He's done so good so many times. He's played that his whole life. I don't think there is ever a reason to switch him off it. And he's one of a kind. And when it came to Zap, yet again, Zap is in another similar boat when it comes to Zainu. He's played a lot of characters. So on TSM, he anchored for a little bit. On AG, he played the fragger role. With Sykes and Dropped, they were like confused on that team. They were going up and down, you know. So they were playing a whole lot of things, and we were very sure of the roles. We were just gonna make Zap play every single anchor character. We were just gonna let Koi run around with his head loose and get Zainu on a character where he feels comfortable IGLing from, you know, and kind of be the fill. So that's where our head was always at the start.
Makes sense. Yeah, we talked about those two, not even acknowledging that Koi is absolutely disgusting. I don't think I ever watched that guy without going, wow, he's playing a different game than I play. Every time I watch Koi just shoot any gun.
Yeah, he's one of a kind, man. He's a young kid with his head screwed on, and he just knows when to shine, when it's time to shine. So
when Koi does something in game that's absolutely insane, like even I believe in this regional final, there was a few fights where it was just him, and he pulls out some 1v1s, and are you ever surprised anymore, or have you reached a point where you're just like you kind of expect it?
Keep one
first. I really like that question because I'd say like 99%, like 90% of the time, I'm not surprised, right?
Yeah.
But when it's in a regional final and it's game 7, game 6, and we're on match point, I'm just tweaking. Like I'm off my head. Like I remember when he was like he killed McLovin. I lost it. I was losing it. You know, like there's still stuff he does that I'm like, wow, you know, especially when he shines in the big moments. But I will say that when he randomly wins a 1v1 or a very crucial moment, a 1v2, it's just Koi, man. It's got to that point where it's Koi, you know. Like if he doesn't do that, then it's not Koi, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He set such a high standard for himself, you know.
That win against KCP out by the dogs on that last game, bro. Like who wins that?
Yeah,
it was like a 40 HP versus 200 and just gross.
Do you guys ever have like a game plan? Like, okay, so we want us to do this rotate here. Koi's gonna do some crazy shit and probably kill someone, and then we take the spot.
Well, I mean,
and that could be any of them if you really think about it. But
if you guys watch our games in general, or like even when the start of Shopify or Moist or SSG, there's a lot of times where Koi or Zainu would just randomly kill someone across the map and would like and will kill a team because of it. Like,
yeah.
And now that we have Zap, another player that can do that, they just randomly kill people across the map, and we just like win a fight because of it, you know. And it's their best thing.
To be fair, you guys do not make it easy to watch you guys play.
Yes, we do.
Is that always going to be the case, or are we going to put Zap as designated streamer?
Well, I think Zainu and Zap have been streaming a little bit more. Koi ripped a stream the other day. He like after the regionals, he streamed with me and him. We were just playing ranked, just talking to the chat. But I don't know. When it comes to all three of them, they just stream sometimes. They don't stream sometimes. I hope one day they will start streaming. But I'm just like you guys, you know. I want them to stream a lot as well, you know. But it's just up to them, and in the end, I think they'll come around, you know.
Yeah.
We need the Dawn. We need the Dawn coaching POV on the 10-minute delay with the 3 Discord things.
With all the POVs and everything.
There we go.
Yeah, I was about to say.
No, that'd be fire. No, you would instantly become one of the biggest Apex streams during game day.
Just all three
POVs, you would hard farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be fun to watch. And even if you like played into the role a little bit, maybe you come with like a clipboard, a headset, and you walk around like an NFL coach on the sidelines.
With a
I think,
suit on.
yeah, with the suit on. I think that would play. I think that would play.
Yeah, it would. It would go crazy.
Now,
Ye-
I will say too, like going back to Koi a little bit, it does suck that we play a BR sometimes because there are moments that he has where because there's a third party that ends up killing you guys right afterwards, you don't get to enjoy the full moment of what just happened. But there was a game in Pro League. I don't know what day it was. I couldn't tell you which game it was, but they're running in from Storm on Broken Moon, and Koi has a 1v1. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. They end up dying right afterwards because they were still in the walk-in. Teams were watching them walk in. I think they actually tried to run across, like, I think it was in Blood Gulch, and they tried to go to the other side. They just try to fight another team. They don't win it there. But it's like there's so many moments that he has that I feel like get lost in translation just because we play a BR. And obviously, if you're not in the top 3, sometimes you miss those. But as far as what you do with him, is there anything particular as a coach where you have to, do anything special with Koi?
Well, Koi is very, very, very gifted. He is a very gifted and hardworking individual. From the second I coached him, I instantly knew. It's like from the second I started coaching him, I instantly knew how good he was. However, from the time I started coaching him till now, I feel like he's become a more complete and diverse and way better player. I think the biggest thing we've had to work on with Koi is just being a lot more confident when he's playing the fragging role to call a play. And it's another thing I'd say that we worked on a lot that has changed his game.
That's crazy.
I'd
You
say
said
like
confidence. I would never assume confidence would be his issue.
Yeah, I mean, bro, it gets rough sometimes because he has such a high standard for himself. Like I said
Yeah.
before, you know what I mean? Like if he doesn't he picks on himself so much. Like if he doesn't have a 10 kill or a 15 kill day, it's a bad day for him. You know, he is so unbelievably hard on himself. I don't think there is a single person harder on themselves than Koi in all of Apex, genuinely, and I think everyone at Shopify would say that. I think a lot of people around him would say that. So he's just always very hard on himself, you know.
And something that you keep talking about is like when you started coaching them, which was back with SSG right before they won LAN. And we've seen that, like, that team, like just I think from a personality standpoint was clashing a bit, right? They were on like rocky straights at one point. They weren't doing great with performances. Then you came in, they win LAN. So it kind of seemed like you might have been the key. So I wanted to kind of go back to that and talk about like when you were just brought on to coach these guys in general, like what was sort of the decisions there, and like, and even talk about that LAN when you guys won.
Well, I'd say the 3 biggest things was and macro was really bad. That was the first thing. The macro, like on all maps, was just pretty disgusting back then. I think that's the right word to say for it. As you said, there was obviously internal issues. The second I came in, I just said, "Hey guys, like, I don't care what anyone does after this month. I'm here for a month. Let's put our heads on for 1 month, and we'll see where it goes. But I just want everyone to put their head down, put the work in for a month, and if we continue doing this work because of how talented of a team that team was, we will achieve everything we ever want, you know." And I think like they just needed someone to be there and like really experience it with them, you know, on the internal side, and it helped all 3 of them a lot. And I'd say the third thing would be the roles. Trying to figure out at the time when I was there, trying to figure out who would play Fragger, Zainu, or Koi was very hard for me. At the start, I had Zainu playing Bang and running around and Bang and Koi anchoring, because I would think the more experienced player would understand how to play Fragger a lot more. And I'd had Koi playing anchor, right? And we were switching back and forward throughout the LAN. You'd see some games where Zainu's on Bang, and you see some games where Koi's on Bang. But we then came to a realization at the middle of the LAN that like, this isn't working. Like, this doesn't feel fluent. This doesn't feel fluid enough. Like, so we had Koi on Bang. We swapped Zainu on Anchor, and we felt as if like Zainu just played a lot better like off Koi than Koi played better off Zainu. And the second we made that switch during the LAN and finals, it showed. And I'd say those are the three biggest things when it came to them.
That's really interesting because like I didn't even acknowledge or like realize it's been a while since I went through all that footage. And I remember some of the crazy games they had on the final day, like the Gotham to match point and everything like that. But like I didn't know about a lot of the issues you're talking about with role fit, but then also too with macro. Because again, I remember a lot of things that were thrown around that time were like Don's here, he's the vibes guy, he's the guy to just bring like the vibes and make sure this team's feeling good mentally.
Well, it's like you know, there's. I think the reason why people see that is because you can't. It's because they say that a lot about Kyle as well, right? But just because we're the more, what's the word I'm looking for? More outspoken people, more people having a laugh, just want to enjoy our life. It's like, hey, just instantly, we don't have a pen and paper. We're just here to go, hey, let's go, guys. But it's just not the case, you know. You can let them. Everyone can say what they want. Everyone can believe what they want. But there is a lot that goes behind the scenes, and it's funny that you bring that up because I laugh about it all the time. I think people have changed their perspective of it now, but it did used to be like that. But I think it's simply because I just go on a camera, go on a mic, and I have a laugh, you know, just because I like to have fun.
No, I know. I'm not denying that you're doing work out there. You're not just hyping them up.
Yeah,
right.
Makes no sense.
If there's one thing that if there's one thing I had to criticize about your coaching during that time for SSG, it would be the championship photo, having our guy Phony out there in the court. I mean, the short king has to be in the middle. He had to be in the middle. As a short king myself, seeing that, it was a heartbreaking situation. He's just got his arms, I think, on your arms as he's trying to touch the trophy.
I think no, it was Koi's arms. It was Koi's arms. It wasn't me. Yeah, because I let all three of them. Yeah, I let all three of them enjoy their moment because I think they really deserved it. I took a step back before I
so I see you in the. I'm looking at the photo right now. You're in the background, then. Okay.
Yeah. I'm in the background. Yeah,
okay. Why it takes it very personally? Why it's like 5-5 on a good day? So like you have to understand. You have to understand. It's a touchy spot
it's just one of those moments.
It's a charitable height of you.
Yeah.
But yeah. I hate how much commotion that made for them because it's like people made it like a really big drama, but like you gotta understand, bro. After I won, I was fucking shaking. Like I didn't know what was going on, and neither did the boys, you know. And it's not like they done it on purpose, and it's not like they meant to do it. No. It's just they're just so happy, and then I remember seeing it everywhere. People saying, "Oh, they're just singling him out." Like it was so dumb. Like it really did piss me off. There are some.
It was just I tweeted out because it was funny. I just said this is a nightmare situation for my guy Phony as a short king myself. Because it's just one of those things. But because
it is funny
because the rumors had already come out that there was like a rift in between them. It made it a big story, which it didn't need to be.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I took it as actually that they were just too excited and didn't even consider like him being on the side. That's the way I initially like saw it as, right? Even after the follow and everything, I still just thought. Because I'd imagine in that moment, I'm not thinking, oh, we need to put the short guy in the middle. Like I wouldn't think about that. I just think I want to go lift the trophy, right? Yeah. Also, too, I've seen how fast they rush you out there, the guy with the headset and how it goes. It's overwhelming. Like it's not like something.
It's like congratulations, everyone, you done it. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, like it happened so quick. Like the game ended. I haven't even recovered from like that feeling. Like I was so high on the moon. Like it was probably one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life. And it's just like there's so many people around you. There's people cheering. You don't know what's going on. You're looking left and right. Someone's telling you to come. I haven't. If you watch the interview of We the People interviewing me, I have never ever been so shy or shook on an interview or talking to someone in my life ever, because I just had so much adrenaline flowing through me that I couldn't even look at where the people look at the camera and speak. Like, I was struggling to speak, and and when I watch it back now, I laugh. It's like, wow, like I was really shaken by that
Genuinely
moment.
out of loss for words when they say it. Like,
Yeah,
when I
in
have
that
no words
moment,
right now,
yeah.
literally had no
No,
words.
I actually just couldn't speak, But yeah.
When that moment happened, did you kind of like just black out, or was it just like pure, like what was that moment? Can you remember what happened in that moment?
I can remember that moment like just second by second, bro.
Like one
I
frame by one
remember it.
frame?
Yeah, frame by frame. I was just so happy, bro. I was like, wow, we actually did it, because when this team was first made, everyone thought, wow, these guys are gonna be crazy. And then they obviously bummed out at EWC. They didn't have a good enough Pro League split. The talent is obviously there. People were second guessing on Koya back then. They weren't sure how good this kid was because he didn't have much to show for it. And obviously Zainu, Phony, like everyone was like, there was a lot of doubts on this team. Like, this team was written off at Split 2 straight away, like off the rip, because of their past performance and Pro League. And to actually do that and do something, like people didn't think we were gonna do. Like, I remember there was a lot of people like before the LAN, like saying like, if they win this LAN now that you're with them, like you're the GOAT, this is that. Like, people just didn't think we'd be able to do it, or I'd be able to do it, and it was great that we'd done it. So I will always remember that moment. It was a very historic moment in my life for me.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you guys went on a crazy run after, like, fourth, fifth at the Open, fifth in Pro League. Obviously, EWC this year, you guys weren't too proud about. But the funny thing is, I look at your tweets, and I mean, fourth in Japan, like, you guys had a positive sentiment about it. But then, like, fifth at the Open, you're like not happy with this, right? Like,
yeah. Well, the Open, I was probably the most heartbroken about Open. If we talk about the 3 LANs that we just had, if we talk about EWC, Open, and Champs, I'd say I'm probably the most heartbroken about Open, simply because it felt as if like we played terrible the whole LAN. Like, the truth is, we played disgusting the whole LAN. Like, and we got a 5th, but like we weren't in a shape to win. Like, even if we got the like, we just weren't in our final form. We also didn't have a chance to win. We didn't even get to match point. And we genuinely just played really bad at that LAN, and it felt the worst for me. At Champs though, we played really good in groups. We made it through winners. Like, winners is like, you make it, you lose it. No one cares how good you do at winners, you know what I mean? You make it or you don't make it. And then in finals day, we played amazing till the last 2 games. And we also died one of the games because of a bug, right? So it's like, I was still very proud of that performance, but it did suck. But like, I was definitely more proud of that performance than the other 2. And EWC, obviously, like, we started strong. We had 40 points in 4 games, and then ended on 55 in 10. And we fell off, and then we didn't make it in losers. But it's like, we just weren't good enough at the time.
How'd you like the Open? Did you like the format? Do you think if they brought it back, you'd be happy with it, or do you think we got to move on from this?
If I speak, I will get in trouble.
That's a good enough answer for me. That's good enough for me.
Take that as a no.
Yeah.
Makes you feel better. I've torn into the Open enough.
I think we were all fairly critical.
We've torn into the format this year with champs points because that shit shows. So
beyond stupid.
We've been relatively critical this year, more than usual.
Yeah.
I mean, look, man. It's a lovely game we play. It's a lovely host we have. I love the LGS. I hope in year 6 they can use their brains and tools to figure out the best thing for all of us, right?
That'd be great. That'd be fantastic.
Indeed.
That'd be fantastic.
All right, so we've covered a lot of the stuff that has been going on within like the past couple of years, and so I'd like to mix it up and let's just go like all the way back to like how you got into video games, how you got into Apex, and how you ended up becoming one of the best coaches in the world. Like, because like from a player perspective, people are like, oh, you just play enough to the point where you get really good, and then you're a pro player. What was that journey like of becoming a coach?
I love playing games when I was a kid. I played a lot of Destiny when I was young. I then quit playing games around 2017. I'd say I was about, how old was I then? 15. And I just kind of like fell out of love for games. Just focusing on school, my life, 15 to like 18 is like pretty crucial years, right? So I was just running around the school doing stuff, and then COVID came around. COVID came around, and I ended up buying a PC in 2021 because I'm just at home all day. I was just bored. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get back into gaming. So I bought a PC, and I had a lot of friends from when I used to play games. Fun fact, a lot of people don't know this, but I've known Zero since 2015, back on console.
Was that because of
So we've
Destiny? Because I know he played a lot of
Yes,
Destiny.
from Destiny. Yeah. So we knew each other from Xbox Destiny, which is kind of crazy. And I
Not surprised in the slightest. He's an Xbox kid. Just had to put that out there.
so
Xbox. Wait,
and-
Destiny wasn't on Xbox. There's no way.
No, it was.
What? Okay.
Yeah,
I thought
it
it was
was-
a
it
PS
was-
exclusive for
It
them.
was there was exclusives on.
Oh yes, that's what it was. Yeah, there
on
was
PS4,
exclusives
yeah.
on PS4. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, continue.
And then I just started playing like Destiny 2 again on my computer, and I kind of like just got bored of Destiny 2, and then I moved to Apex. Me and like Zane and like Shady and like a few other people moved to Apex at the same time because Zane's also from Destiny, and I know Zane from Destiny. And I started playing Apex a lot, and I ended up joining Pro League and ended up teaming with Droga and Shady. And I ended up playing, and then that team never ended up happening. Like, we never played an actual Pro League game day, but we teamed for like 4 months playing like other tourneys and stuff. Then I ended up teaming with Jaro and Wayons. We played a Pro League split, and obviously like befriended like all the Aussies and like everyone else, reunited with Zero, a few other people I haven't, spoken to in years. And this is like around 6 months of me playing the game. I started playing Pro League, and then I kind of got really busy with uni and like my IRL and everything I had going on in my real life. I couldn't really like play games and like not make money and like not and do uni and like not help my family out. So like I went to go focus on my real life, and then Shady ended up messaging me one day like, hey, like I understand you don't want to play anymore or whatever. And Raki, and they were like, I understand you don't want to play anymore. I reckon you can coach us. We could make a lot of good use for you, and you wouldn't have to spend as much time playing the game, and you can also balance your real life. And then I started doing it, and I loved it. Ended up coaching them for a bit, and then I ended up coaching Nasky. Then I ended up coaching the boys. So yeah.
So it was IRL stuff. I saw you and Draugr teamed, and then became coaches. It was like, oh, these guys weren't
Yeah.
good enough to cut it out in Pro League or anything. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. I played Pro League for one split.
Yeah.
Obviously, wasn't good at all. I was playing the game for like, I started playing the game season 11, ended up in Pro League, I think season 13. But I still, like, I've naturally always been kind of good at games, so I didn't find hard to find my foot in Apex straight away. But I just didn't have the time, bro. Like in Apex South, bro, back then you're competing against Zero and like these people that have, and to get an organization, like, and to do all these things to back you, like, you really have to go all in and like pray you make it, or you're just fucked, you know what I mean? So I just said, yep, I'm not even gonna deal with that, and just stopped playing, and ended up coaching.
Yeah, I'm playing obviously,
Yeah.
but do you ever think about like just how many of you from Australia specifically like have come out like as like some of the best players and coaches in the game? Now
Yeah.
you're all at the top of the game.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because once upon a time, we're just all just a group of friends just sitting in a voice chat and playing Apex, or playing Destiny. Um, the Aussies, I'd say we all have a very strong relationship with each other. Like we all go see each other, we all go do things with each other. It is pretty crazy, you know. And it's like I remember before Zero won that LAN, no one gave a fuck about Australia. The only people that they cared about was Jen, and they used to think of Jen as like the carry for that team, and no one gave a shit like that. It was just like it was a statistic in Apex. That's all Apex South was, and that's all the Australians were. And I remember the second after that LAN and then the DZ LAN, that's when like we became more friends with a lot of people in NA and EU, and just people started coming around because they're like, wait, these guys actually know how to play the game. These guys are good people. They're funny, and we ended up, like becoming friends with a lot of people in the community because of that.
Yeah, I used to hear that, and I don't know if this was before you even started playing Apex, but like Apex South players used to literally get like shunned from scrims if they tried to join like NA scrims and shit like that. Like they would
Yeah,
literally get blocked out or they join under fake names to try and get in.
yeah, I remember. Well, this is before my time. This is before I started playing games again. But I remember Matt, like MT0 and like Sharky used to like play NA scrims like, and they'd have to go under fake names and stuff because they didn't want them in. And yeah, it's crazy. They were gate kept the whole time, and if it wasn't for Zero winning those, if it wasn't for Zero, Sharky, and Jen winning those 2 LANs, you got to include my boy Jake in their JMW too. Um, probably be no like Australia XNA thing, It's kind of like the Aussies are with the Americans now, since there's so many of us in NA now. So yeah.
Now, I've always been kind of interested in the idea of like how coaching works in Apex, and I feel like everybody probably has their own style to it. Do you have your own specific style? Like, what would you consider yourself as a coach? What do you value the most when you're going into a season, a pro league split, whatever it may be, a LAN? What do you try to work on the most as just a coach yourself to try and get your team ready for whatever situation you're in?
That's a great question because you got me thinking. That's a great question. I'm loving these questions that work in my brain. I'd say the biggest things we try to, I'd say like we try to set goals. I try to set goals for every single person. If I see a bit of a leak in someone's gameplay or performance, I'd point that out to them. We'd go through examples, figure out how to improve it, sit down and have a conversation. I think the biggest thing though, like as a coach, right? You're not only a coach, but like you're kind of like a big brother for them, right? You need to make sure these boys are aligned, they're on time, making sure they've practiced, being on their ass, in the big brother sense. And then when it comes to the game thing, I think the biggest thing is just setting goals and figuring out the leaks with each other and coming to an agreement, and then from there working on it, because I think once the problem is apparent, it's a lot easier to fix, right? And once they agree with the problem, because you can always tell a player like, hey, you don't do this enough, but like they can get defensive and fight back about it. But if you put it out in a way where it's like, hey, like this there's a leak here, there's a little bit of a fault here. I can show you a bit of examples. I think these are the best ways to work on it. Whether it's us talking about it after scrims or VOD reviewing it or going over it with his teammates. And as long as they acknowledge it, which all my players do, thankfully they have a high respect for me and Luca. They eventually do work on it, And I'd say those are all the preparations coming into a new season. Like,
Is there a way you guys measure that so that like do you have that conversation and then that improvement's being made? That's something I've always been curious about because like you can have those conversations But then, like, when the game comes, if like you're not seeing active improvement, like, how do you make sure and measure that like that improvement's being made?
Well, it's like it's like complicated, as you said, because sometimes you don't always get into those situations, right? And it's a BR, so you can't like re-roll those situations. But I think as I said earlier, it's like if I don't see an improvement with the things we've said or spoken about or tried to implement, then we move on to something else. You know what I mean? But that's only if it doesn't work, like at the start of them trying it, pushing into it. I understand they're trying to fix it, but it's not fixing it. Then we just move on to something else and try, and try to figure out another solution for the league.
Another thing I've always seen when it comes to especially early in Apex, before coaching was really like a thing, because when we started this show, there wasn't a lot of teams with coaches. It was more like we would always ask players about vibe guys and just being able, like, is there a guy, how are the vibes in between games when you guys don't do well, all that kind of stuff. Now we're seeing coaches be able to almost after every scrim or every game, you see them come in and you just kind of start breaking things down. Like, this is where we messed up. This is where we could get better. How much of coaching is that specific situation, like trying to talk the guys through a tough time versus actual X's and O's, in between games and stuff like that?
Well, I'd say I'm gonna point out a few things. I remember, like, because when I was playing, there was no coaches, but I think the big reason for that coaches became a lot more apparent in teams was Raven's success on TSM. I think it was probably the biggest thing, because back then, no one gave a fuck about a coach. No one cared. Everyone was like, "Hey, let's just play." Players are being players. But Raven's success on TSM showed teams like, wow, like having a coach is really good. And if it wasn't for Raven's success, we'd probably have coaches now. But they became a lot more apparent, and people saw it as a must thing, probably because of that situation. When it comes to as you said, being a big brother or breaking down the game plan, I think the biggest thing about being a good coach is like, first being able to understand your players and being able to have a conversation with them and being able to understand when's the right moment to say something. You know what I mean? Like, as a coach, like, you can really like kill a player's mood on a game day if you don't have that skill set of understanding like what needs to be said, when it needs to be said, And I'd say, like, when it comes to game days, obviously, like, a rule I have personally at the Shopify camp is, like, on a game day, we want to be as positive as we can to each other. The only thing we want to do is uplift each other, and we can figure out the problems after. We have a slight maybe conversation, like a productive conversation after the game. But I think on a game day, it's very important to, like, make sure everyone's attitude is aligned, make sure everyone's ready for the next game, especially on a match point day, because it's like you can win. It doesn't matter how many 0-pointers you get, you can still win. So for you to dwell and, like, for us to argue about certain situations or a mistake, it's just not worth it on a game day, And I try to save that stuff for, like, VOD reviews or, like, scrims and all that good stuff. But on a game day, if there's something, like, really big, really apparent, like I see Koi pick a wrong perk or something, I'll be like, yo, you need to pick the perk. But usually when it comes to our game days, it's just like a little mistake or a little iffy pit. So it's like we make sure to keep everyone in positive arms.
Yeah, I
like
think
on
that's...
LAN.
Oh, go ahead, Jumba.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, like, LAN days, when you're speaking about those, like, even, like, before you guys set up the games, like, is there, like, almost, like, locker room, almost, like, pregame talk type thing? Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, yeah. Like, is it more of a hype-up speech, or is it, like, going through, like, what you guys need to execute, like, with plans, or,
Well, we kind of already make sure we have everything set. I always make sure we have everything's set before our game day. I might give them a little reminder before the actual scrim day, before the actual match day. But if anything, like 5 minutes before we're actually entering that lobby, it's nothing but a lot of peace and nothing but a lot of love, a lot of motivation, because that's what matters at the time, you know. If they don't know something and they've missed something, that's on me, and I should have made it already apparent beforehand, you know.
So we've gotten into like what the game day prep is like. What does your like day-to-day life look like as a coach, and like how do you like what type of like what are your hours look like, and what do you do in order to like best set up your team for success?
I like that. I like that question a lot. So our scrims start around 8 a.m. I'm up at 6 a.m. and go shower, you know, do the boring stuff. By 7 a.m. everyone's in call. An hour before scrims, we talk about the day, what we want to achieve for the day, our goals for the day. We get a little TDM in, a little warm up beforehand. We head into scrims. We finish scrims around 1 p.m., 2 p.m. my time. We might stick around depending on the day, talk about things we done today, things we want to achieve again. Hop in a review some days. And then once we let go of the boys, me and Luca will probably sit down and talk about things we want to achieve or what POI we're at, figure out game plans for the boys, figure out comps for the boys, figure out what other teams are doing around us. And yeah, that's pretty much a day in the life of me.
You might be like one of the only people in this league that has a reasonable sleep schedule.
I was gonna say,
Yeah. Right?
yeah, I was gonna
Like,
say, that's
Most
crazy.
guys are up until 4 in the morning and waking up at like 3. Which, to be fair, when like scrims start so late in the day, if they want to be fresh, I actually don't even blame them. Like you
Yeah.
might want to be waking up later.
Yeah, no, scrim times are beautiful for me. It's like the perfect timing.
So now going into champs, I believe you guys are positioned in 7th right now, correct?
7th seed, yeah.
Yeah,
Seventh
we're 7th seed.
Yeah, so 7th seed going into it. Obviously, you guys are going to have the draft coming up, all that different stuff going on. But getting ready to go back into Japan, have you guys started kind of breaking things down? I know it's really far way away from where we are right now, but even now, are you starting to get ready for some of the things going on in champs coming up here?
Me and Luca are, but when it comes to the boys are on a break. I've told all of them, like, hey, you know, you've won Pro League, you've won regionals. Enjoy this little break because this is the only break we're going to get before champs. So they're all, you know, doing their own thing. Everyone's enjoying themselves. I think it's very important to have a break. And yeah, there's not much going on at the Shopify account. Me and Luca might arrange a talk here and there or talk about something that's come up, but that's about it.
There it is.
And so when do you how much time pre-champs do you think you guys will really start be like, okay, break's over, lock in, let's get it done?
Group scrims start November 10th, so that's when we're going to be going hard. The second group scrims start November 10th, and the new season drops from November. The new season drops November 4th. That's when we'll be going hard.
Anything you're hoping with like metas coming up with champs? Like, are you hoping maybe get rid of the PK meta? Do you think as you guys won, we keep the PK meta or character metas as well? Something like that? Anything that you're expecting or hoping for?
Kind of just hoping for Newcastle to just get nuked out the whole game, really.
You don't like that there's still Gibby Newcastle all of a sudden again?
Yeah, just want.
Dude,
We've been in the same Newcastle meta for I think 2 years now, so I really just want that character. It's so hard to take him out of meta, right? Like his whole kit is so good, so it's like he just needs to be expelled. But the thing is, it's like now with legend bans, it's a lot better. So
who would have thought that we'd see Meat Mountain as a viable, and not only viable, OP comp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
Crazy.
Yeah, your game one in regional final, it was crazy. How long they were able to live. They had 4 teams surrounding them at one point on that
Yeah.
rock in front of North Pad, and I was like, oh, surely they're dead here, and then surely they're dead there, and they were still alive. I couldn't. They got like top 5. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, the game one is so like there's so much. It's so hard. It's the hardest game of Apex to play because it's so hard to kill anybody. So
Mhm.
it's like you just gotta pray you can live, and it's very hard to make the decisions, especially in the end game, on whether to kill a team, and it's very hard to just live in general. So that game one is like the worst game.
Yeah, especially even altars still being used a decent amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't have much more, and I don't know if you guys do, but if not, I think you could hit him with it.
We got one. It's been a minute. I know since we've done it.
Dude, I know. It's
but
been
so,
a
like-
fat minute since I've been able to ask this question.
Well, that's
Well, I think
because
Jumbo has another
I
one.
have one question here, which is a staple. So we ask every player coach that comes on here at LAN, when you're playing on stage, top bunk or the bottom bunk? What do you prefer on stage? We're not talking about beds because a lot of people think we're talking about beds.
Oh.
The top bunk of the stage or the bottom bunk?
Bottom
Yeah,
bunk.
what do you
Bottom
choose?
bunk.
Bottom
Bottom?
bunk.
Yeah.
Bottom bunk. Yeah, I think you guys won from bottom bunk too, so that's
did.
that's fair. We typically tally up like how performances from there, so bottom bunk makes sense.
Is there
a
any
why?
reason why bottom's superior?
Quicker to have a break because you don't have to go stairs and grab around. You have more
Mhm.
time, 30 seconds. Quicker to the toilet.
There we go. That's a good
But you're
reason.
telling me like top
Valid.
bunk, you don't just feel just like a boss. You be standing back there like
No,
this,
no.
looking over. I don't care.
I like
Fuck all that.
we're there to win. I don't care how I feel about the day. We're there to fucking win.
There
it
you go.
is.
And bottom bunk's the winning bunk.
There it is. Hit him with it.
All right. So the question that I ask everybody who comes on the pod, because everyone who comes on the pod is performing in the top 1% of the field they're operating, and you fit the bill for that. And so, on your what is one thing that you've learned, or one thing that you found to be most important on your journey to reaching the level of success that you have, that somebody, regardless of the field that they were pursuing, could apply into their journey to working towards their success? What would that be?
It's a lovely question, Enoch. Just not losing hope, man. I think we all go through rough times in life, and I think when we want to achieve great things, there are a lot of down moments, but you just need to remember that every day is a great day, and we're here for a reason. A day bed rotting in your bed, a day being sad is just a wasted day, and if you keep shooting at what you want to achieve, you will eventually get it. And that's my advice to them.
That's beautiful.
There we go.
That's wonderful. Love to hear it. Love to see it. And this was awesome, Don. Thanks for hopping on, man. It has been a pleasure having you on. And we're going to be rooting for your success. I think I might have to just predict the boys again. I mean, what could go wrong?
My
right?
boy.
What
No,
could
you
go
should.
wrong?
Yeah.
What could go wrong? I had one bad Shopify prediction, but I've had a good one as well. So
yeah. And third time's a charm. You know what they say.
third time's a charm.
There we go.
We'll see who the real winner is, the curse or me. That's what we'll do. But once again, Don, thanks for hopping on, man. It's been a pleasure. Go out there and win that trophy at Champs.
Thank you guys so much. It was a pleasure.
Okay, regional recap time, Don. We already went through the Americas region. Let's kick it off with our first one, which is EMEA. What did you see from the European region?
Well, you'd probably be shocked by this, Wyatt. Alliance won again.
Oh, really? Is that right?
I think that was the shocker pick of the 4 regions.
Who could have guessed?
I never would have guessed. But no, on a serious note, I mean, honestly, again, like Alliance from the get go, they won game 1. Didn't necessarily have a couple games there in the middle where we saw like peak Alliance, but then towards the end it just turned back up. I mean, it was literally a 6-game regional final, the little exact opposite that we saw from EMEA in Split 1. But I mean, again, it just Alliance being Alliance. I mean, Effect had 22 kills. Unlucky had 15. I mean, they just pulled Alliance fashion. They had 3 wins in the day. I mean, it just, again, it really was the story of Alliance doing their thing. And there was definitely some discourse afterwards about the strength of the region and those certain pros maybe not taking it as seriously as they should and kind of bringing the quality of the region down, which, I mean, I can say of the 4 regions probably that I watched this year with watch parties, it was definitely one that definitely felt very predictable of what teams would show up and who wouldn't.
Yeah.
So again, we'll have to see, maybe what some of these players are able to kind of sort out headed into year 6 to maybe see if we can see some adjustments within the region. But yeah, again, just it really was the story of Alliance. Other qualifying teams into champs that we got were Citadel Gaming, Go Next, Navi, and Roadhouse. Obviously, the region will also get 2 more through their LCQ, which is also this weekend. All 4 regions are just running the LCQ this weekend. But yeah, I mean, I think with basically APAC North, with having the least amount of teams, which at most lands in the past, they've had, I believe, the second most invited teams from their pro league. So it's definitely a wake-up call, I think, for the region. Definitely some things that probably need to be sorted out to improve the quality, just from top to bottom. And we'll have to see if those adjustments are made. But at least in the meantime, it really is Alliance that, at least right now, is going to be the main factor for the region heading into Japan here in a couple months. But yeah, big shout out to them for winning per usual. Go Next had a good split. Roadhouse been a nice recovery throughout the split as well. But yeah, overall, it's going to be a very interesting LCQ because with only 5 teams qualifying, there's a lot of names that we would not expect to be in LCQ at EMEA. I think EMEA is probably the most stacked LCQ of any of the regions because we've got Nasky, being an LCQ. We've got the FaZe Clan roster, Empire Gaming. I mean, there's just a lot of names that you would not expect to be in a LCQ. So definitely gonna be one to watch this weekend for sure.
Now, as we move into APAC North, this one probably surprised a lot of people, but I don't know how to say this, so I'm just going to say what I think it is. C-Rail. They were your winner.
If you had watched either my watch party or Jay's watch party, I think we probably had about 8 different pronunciations throughout the whole thing, so it's not just you. Someone just told us to call them cereal by the end of it, so we just were rolling. I
almost said cereal.
Yeah, we were just.
I feel like Gronk trying to say Emeka Ibuka. That's what I feel like right now.
Yeah. But no. In all seriousness, though, this along with APAC South was definitely some shockers to say the least. We did not expect, based on how the region went this year, that this would be the team that will pull out the regional final. I will say. For people that have watched the region, this has a couple members of the old New J roster, which had shocked some people during year 4 because they have just a savant when it comes to calling zones and just being in the literal middle of them. And I believe that's a Naga, if I say that correctly. But they just were absolutely on point. I mean, literally from game 1, getting to second place. In both the first couple games. And I mean, just really from there, I mean, they just were always in the final circles, always a factor, basically throughout every single game. And yeah, eventually led to game 8 in an insane 1v1 where if they lose it, it goes to another game. Because I think Reignite was the other team that was up who was not on the match point. And I mean, there's just so many Watson fences, the zone closing in. I mean, knockdown shields. I mean, it's literally like they were playing for the $200,000 or whatever amount that champs teams play for. It was an insane 1v1. And again, just to see the pop off, I mean, you could hear in the comms, even with not having, the comms in English, you could feel the emotion. You could feel the excitement. Some tears were shed from what I could tell as well. And it was definitely a real cool moment. And I think that's really what, like, if there's anything we can at least take positively from this split, it's moments like this where we see teams kind of be able to recognize that dream of making champs, especially for these teams at APAC North, where it's either in their home country or very close, which most of our teams in APAC North are Japanese teams. So it's a really cool thing to see. And again, I think if there's anything we can take from this split, it is that we have a couple teams that really get to recognize a dream that not many people thought they could, and maybe even themselves didn't think they could have. So a big shout out to them. I think the biggest unfortunate side of things was Soton had such a good split, man. And
they had a chance to win it, and they
Yeah.
get dead last, which sucks.
Yeah, I know. And I believe I remember somebody on Twitter had asked about us kind of breaking that down a little bit for what happened. And I did go back and watch from Kakagori's perspective. And it just seemed like from game one, they just did not have that same kind of bite in their fights. Like, didn't have that same aggressiveness, that same confidence. Really from game one, like they had walked up on a fight. It was like on the cliff that looks out above like lightning rod. It's like the one that leads into like the into like command center, just like that whole like cave like thing right there. And they walked up on a fight, and I mean, I've not seen Kakagori get absolutely beamed like he did, and he just went down, I mean, in an instant. And it just seemed like from there, he just was not able to get a lot of the opening damage that they're used to getting in fights. I mean, we're talking about a guy that had a 30-plus kill day, and he only had 1 kill in 8 games, which is a huge, huge surprise based on the split he had. So overall, it just really did not seem like, you know, they had that bite, they had that aggressiveness that we're used to seeing from them, to where they win these fights, they pick up this KP, they're able to clear sides of zone and walk in and win some of these games. And it's really, truly unfortunate because they really were one of the stories that was fun to watch. You know, they weren't a team that was in a champs points qualifying position, so they had to win the regional final or win the split, and they were in position to do both heading into the regional final, and unfortunately, it just did not work out for them. Again, truly was unfortunate to watch. But again, if you want to talk about a heavy favorite for LCQ, they got to be one of them if they can bounce back mentally. It's like you said, you know, when we were talking about exterminators, like you get this, you know, this big emotional buildup, you know, right, for regional finals. It doesn't go your way. You know, what does that bounce back look like? You know, you hope it's for the positive. You hope they're able to bounce back, but there is that, you know, that potential that could snowball into an unfortunate bad performance. But we'll definitely wish them the best, and hopefully they can bounce back for sure.
Yeah, and then we move into APAC South. The winner of the regional final was the Boogie Boarders in the match point, but the overall winner of your pro league was Genji Esports. No surprise that second place was Wolves Esports. It felt like the entire split, they were just going back and forth. Just two heavyweights throwing blows. They finally come down to, you know, the championship rounds, and Genji is able to pull it out.
Absolutely. I did want to mention real quick, we'll get into APAC South. For APAC North, the teams you'll see at champs for right now, it's Unlimit, it is Fnatic, it is SBI Esports, Kinotrope Gaming, and Serial. Again, there'll be 2 more teams that qualify through LCQ, but those are your automatic qualifiers. And Interforce 36 as well, because I think I missed them. So
yeah,
those are your teams there. But anyway, looking into APAC South, I mean, again, it really, like you said, was the region of just 2 heavyweights going back and forth. It felt like the entire time between Genji, between Wolves. But Boogie Boarders, I mean, Metro, the young gun himself, 17 years old, Fragger, his 2 teammates with Rocky and Pana, both 2 very experienced players in APAC South, have been playing for a decent amount of time. I mean, I think Rocky's been like since the beginning, and Pana's been like since at least year 3, maybe even year 2. But yeah, I mean, that was the first, like we always talk about, like APAC South, it kicks off the Pro League weekend, it kicks off the regional final weekend, and it just does not disappoint. I mean, just from the get-go, Boogie Boarders comes out, game 1, their comp is Pathfinder and Mad Maggie Revenant. They immediately run over to Mill where the zone's pulling, and they absolutely wipe the floor with SAUL, who's playing the big man comp. And you can just tell from there, it's like, okay, today is going to be a weird day. Like you just, it's, you know, it's going to be something entertaining. It's going to be fun to watch. Deep Cross Gaming, who had a Sojay, if you remember from the first split, who was absolutely going insane. Him and Roy and Luzin, they just went absolute nuclear to start off. They win the first 2 games. They're already at 47 points after 2 games. I mean, it was almost like Exterminators where they almost hit match point after 2 games. But then you just saw like Boogie Borders. They get second place in that first game. They kind of slowly make their way towards match point after that. They get a second place with a bunch of points in game 3. And yeah, I mean, it came down to a pretty crazy end game where I believe it was Boogie Borders, it was Gen G, and it was Kakoi. Kakoi literally had the cliff outside a tree, was looking down on both teams. Kakoi's lifeline gets picked by Metro with an absolutely insane R9 beam, looking like Wyatt and DMR. But it was absolutely insane. They were able to get that pick. They're able to catwall up the right side. They're able to Wraithport up there as well to end up taking up the high ground, which then eventually they're able to pinch Kakoi and kill off Gen G there at the end. And they're able to qualify. Again, it was an awesome story to see kick off the weekend, even though for me it was a 1:30 a.m. to like 7:30 in the morning watch party, which then preceded me to drive up to golf, which if you listen to Heart to Heart, since we definitely did not record that before this, my golf session was horrible. So I was glad at least APAC South went well. But anyway, definitely was a great moment again to see, like we had talked about last week, there really wasn't many teams that we saw that had like these big upset regional final wins that were outside of a champs qualifying position before. And we got to see that twice, literally with the first 2 regional finals that took place. So big shout out to Boogie Borders. It was a ton of fun to watch them play. Obviously, again, Gen G, I mean, again, just looked phenomenal. Again, they don't take the win of the day today. But I mean, again, Asia, Dexter, Ziki, all 3 of them in double-digit kills. A team, again, that arguably has had the best year of anybody if you just take off a pure placement and across all, both splits, both lands that have taken place. They haven't finished outside the top 10 in any of those yet. So big shout out to them. Again, big shout out to Wolves, who had a really good split as well. For this region, we'll obviously what happens with VK Gaming if they're able to get back to their form that they had from EWC with QQ, at least as of right now, expected to come back. But again, APAC South, second most teams qualified of any team or any region of the 4. That is Gen G, that is VK Gaming, that is SAUL, that's Wolves Esports, 5 Fears, Alcatia, and JD Gaming, which again, there's going to be 2 more teams then from LCQ, which gives them 10, which will be the most that they've ever had at a single LAN, at least from my understanding. So that's going to be a quarter of our teams coming from APAC South. So big kudos to them. They were by far the second best region in the world this year. And I'm very excited to see what their performances look like here at Champs moving forward.
There we go. Ladies and gents, that is the regional recap. Getting ready for LCQ. Let's send you guys on the Heart to Heart. Take a quick break and then send you guys on the rest of your week. Let's get it. All right, ladies and gents, that was Dawn from Shopify Rebellion. Not to be confused with Dawn on the show, but it was a great interview with Dawn. Shout out to him and Shopify for having him on. Appreciate it. Love it. Cannot wait. But boys and girls, it's time for Heart to Heart time. It's time to round it out. And we already know who goes first in these. It's Chumba.
What up? My Heart to Heart is I feel like I have not gamed very hard. This is going to sound weird. Like, we obviously game, but like, how do I say this? I have not been excited for as many games that are coming out as I am right now. And he's completely taken my life away. I have not been very productive at all for the last week because I was getting back into like gaming with Apex. Battlefield's now taking over. Arc Raiders is going to take over. And I just want to say I'm enjoying liking games again. There's like a 2-year period of time where all I did was just YouTube. I did not play video games really. But like I'm hyped. Oh, I forgot to mention Zombies coming back. I don't know if I'm excited for that one. We'll see. Black Ops 4 is fucking awesome. At least it's
the revival.
We check out Packapod. We talked about how we think it aged well. So to say it's awesome, I'm saying it's awesome now. I don't know if I would have said it was awesome in 2018, whenever it came out. That's my Heart to Heart. I'm just enjoying liking games. I'm going to say that. It's simple.
Is gaming back?
It might be. I think there's a lot of good games coming out.
Do you think gaming will be officially back when IRL streaming is like dead? Because people are tired of IRL streamers just harassing Target employees and stuff?
I don't think IRL streaming is dead or will die anytime soon, because I think the most popular streams aren't even those stupid pranks and that BS. Like that guy we ran into in Japan. That's a whole other story. But do you remember that guy?
Yeah, I do.
Why? Like
yeah,
the guy
Jay
on
was
the side
not
of the
having
street.
that.
And
He
I
was not
agree.
having
Jay's.
that.
I was trying to just like didn't want to be on a stream. I was just rolling with some bit until he started getting weird, and then Jay pulled us away. We're like, yeah, honestly, good call. It was lame.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jay, shout out that boy.
Yeah.
Shout out that
I was
boy,
gonna-
Jay.
I was gonna throw that in my heart to heart, but I'll just say this: JHAWK has been nominated for an esports award for Analyst of the Year. So you need to go vote. You can vote every single day,
Every
up
day.
until I think November 12th.
That's a
And
It's
lot
our
of votes you
honorary
could get
fifth
in there.
man of the pod.
That's
Yeah,
a lot of
I
votes
mean,
you could get in.
not just this pod, like this entire universe of
GMD
shows
universe.
under what I like to call the almost done studios. This entire universe, he's been in all of them multiple times, and then on the streams as well, and then coming up with ideas behind the scenes as well. So you got to give him a vote. I think it's funny that our zombies community has absolutely no clue that he's just a massive deal in Apex Legends. They just have no idea. They just love talking songs.
They definitely have no idea.
Just in general. I like every once in a while we slip in like a little thing like on our zombies pod, like, yeah, well, like when we were at LAN, we were all at this thing. I always wonder if like the viewers are just like, what the fuck are they talking
Yeah,
about?
what
Like,
are they saying?
oh yeah, like when this guy was on, like, what are they talking about? He's on desk. What do these guys do for a living? I mentioned
Zombie
I got Call of
dudes.
Duty for free, and they're probably like, these guys have 200 subscribers. Why did he get COD for free?
Zombie dudes are hilarious because they literally don't give a fuck about anything else but zombies. Like our zombie, they just only care about zombies. Like we had a voicemail of a guy who had played like thousands of
He
hours
said
into every
10,000
single
hours
title.
on every single COD Zombies title, and 5,000 hours on like the worst one. He's
Yeah.
like, dude, I don't even have 2,000. Or I have like 2,500 hours on Apex.
Yeah. Yeah, like
That's
he
crazy.
like that's how much ball they know. And for whatever reason they still listen to our show. So that's even crazier. But that's a whole nother thing on its own. But yeah, go vote for Jay. You can, like I said, you can vote every day, and there's also some other Apex creators in there. I saw Nice Wig. I saw some of the other
All of them,
casters.
like the casters,
everybody.
Onset, Vicky, Rain Day, Glitter, Dan Gaskin.
Best
I
controller
hope
player.
I'm not
Effect
messing.
was
Yeah,
in there.
Effect is on there. Apex community taking over. Go support them.
Yeah,
Go freaking win them an award.
yeah. But most importantly, we got to hit Jay. We got to hit Jay with the votes. Dawn, your heart to heart.
Yeah, I think mine just this week is just, stay in the course no matter what life throws your way. I had a pretty up and down weekend. Friday started off with a lot of fun, even though being up at 1:30 in the morning maybe isn't fun for people. Got to watch the regional finals for APAC South. It was a great stream. Pretty cool upset as well that took place. Saturday could not have been worse, just with a few things that happened, and definitely involved my golf game being absolutely dog shit on Saturday. But then Sunday came around, had a Mia watch party, and got rated by Play Apex again, so that was sick. And also had a really fun discussion with Pandas, who's a coach at Apex South, with JHAWK. He hopped on the stream as well. So again, I think I just, this weekend's just all about staying the course no matter what happens, and usually things can turn out pretty well. So
Yeah, I heard something about hole 14. That's literally all I've seen. I don't know anything about it. I just heard about hole 14.
I don't know why he said hole 14, because it was like hole 3. Like it was,
hole 3?
it was very early on. I had
Okay.
some B-Rad tweeted that out for some reason. He just completely made that up. I don't know what that is in reference to, but things definitely went downhill much
I got one question.
earlier than hole 14.
Did you leave with all the golf clubs you arrived at the course
did.
with?
I
Okay,
did.
that's good. That's a successful day.
Yeah,
That's good. That's actually really
Yeah.
good because
We count
Chris,
it.
Chris one time he showed up to a golf course his first time ever with the boys, and he left without his 7, his 8, and I believe his 9. He wasn't angry. He wasn't angry at all. He was swinging his clubs, and the heads flew off in front of everybody at the range, and it was the fun. I was crying laughing. It was the funniest thing I have
somebody
ever
could
seen.
have died. High key.
Well, no. It was just
It's
like
in the range, on the range,
driving
so-
range. So
on the
nobody
yeah, so
range?
it's
Yeah,
going-
okay.
But it was
If
so
it was on a
funny.
random golf course, I mean, like that
Dude.
head just flies off.
Thursday,
That's dangerous.
when I hit the range before I went out of town to golf, I was hitting next to somebody that all I heard was just the noise of only something that broke. And I just looked and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, please don't let it be his driver. It was definitely his driver. And I'm like, that is such an expensive replacement. We just made eye contact. And I'm like, bro, I didn't know what to tell you, man. It's like, it's almost like his dog died. The look on his face, like it was so tragic, man. I could not imagine like having my driver break like that.
Someone gifted my buddy clubs, which is sick. I don't even have my own clubs, but so I show up and like we're like, you know, he luckily shoots left like me, so I'm like, yo, let me try these out. And I go, oh, where's your driver? And he goes, right here. I go, that's a 3-wood. He goes, no, this is a driver. I go, that shit's too small. I'm like, when's this from? Like the fucking 90s? And I'm pretty sure they're from the 90s. And yeah, it didn't take long before that fucking the head of that driver went flying down.
It's just such a funny noise. And like,
oh yeah,
dude, Chris is standing there. He's never golfed before. He comes out with the boys for the first time. It's a packed driving range right before we're about to start golfing. We had our time ready to go and we're just getting ready. And it's fully packed. He takes 2 swings with his 7, and you just hear this god awful noise, and you see the head just rolling on the grass in front. And Chris doesn't know what to do. I was crying, and we're like, okay, well, you know, all right. He pulls out his 8. 2 swings, same thing happens again. And then we get on the actual course. I think he did lose one on the actual course. It was the first hole, his first swing, it flies off. And it was just like,
was he hitting the ground or something, or was it just like
his golf set was super old too. His was old. It was like 80s or 90s. And it had been sitting in their garage for like years and years and years.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It was,
that shit was
this
such
range
a funny.
This range had like a graveyard of people just sticking the clubs in the grass behind the driving range. That's what they do, and there was like 6 or 7 clubs in.
That's too funny.
I've only tossed a club one time, and it was because I took a shot, and then I had played the first 3 holes of this course. It was so bad, I was honestly wondering if I'm actually left-handed. I was like, maybe I'm right-handed, and I just don't know. And I go to the 4th hole in the tee box. I hit the ball. It went between my legs backwards and then hit the ladies. There was like a ladies' bathroom behind me. It hit the fucking door. And I was standing there like, I don't know what to do right now other than to throw this thing. Like it was such a bad start. And it only got worse because at a certain point, Kyle was not paying attention. He was whipping the golf cart. And I had just taken my arm off the rest, and he turned, and I flew out the side of it, and it was just not a good experience. It was one of the worst days of golfing I've ever had in my life. It was one of those times where they knew I was so mad that nobody spoke on the car ride home, which I would have been fine if they would have talked, but they knew I was that angry. I was just like heated from the entire, and it was an 18-hole course, so like it was the whole day just debauchery, top to bottom.
Dude, Connor was with me. That's who I went to golf with. And I think the last 4 or 5 holes, I might have said like 4 words. And he was just like, yeah, because I just completely stopped playing. Like, that's how bad of a day it was. I didn't play the full 18 holes.
Yeah.
And I could just tell, like, he could read the room and he just wasn't saying a word to me. And I'm like, after they got done with 18, I'm like, man, I have to be one of the worst people to golf with because I was just, it's such a bad mood, dude. It was terrible.
I mean, normally I'm pretty okay because I know that I suck. But when I say that this was like the worst you could ever see, it looked like I had never swung anything before. It looked like I just learned how to use my arms the day we started, like that day when we started golfing. It was that bad. And then the shot where it goes in between my legs defies gravity and physics to not even go forward on the course. It was one of those days. So I've been there.
Dude,
shut up, grab my bogey.
Yeah, I was gonna say the day we finally get to golf together, bro. That's gonna be a movie.
Yeah, dude, I'm being attacked. Okay, Enoch, do you have yours ready to go?
You could go first.
Okay, my heart to heart this week is that, hockey is back, and what that does, it puts me in 2 modes. On top of the world, wanting to die. There's no real in between. Right
Man,
now,
if only you had a friend who recommended that you stop putting such an emphasis on sports and allowing
Yeah.
them to absolutely manhandle your emotional state.
Avalanche.
Yeah,
up
if only
3-1
I
right
had
now.
that, right? Like, that would be
Avalanche are up
great.
3-1 right now. You should be on top.
That
of
would
the
be
world.
great. No, I was going to say right now I'm feeling good, but Jumbo was there when going into the final 4 minutes of a game 7 up 2-0 and then losing 3-2, not even in overtime. It's just one of those.
Wait.
where-
Specify. When Mikko Rantanen, their second best player on the team, arguably was the one who ended
Debatable.
that game pretty much. Yeah, I guess he could be like number 2, number 3, but either way, top winger, he's the one that ended your playoff run. Now that I've just like made sure to bring that in there. Did you
Mhm.
want to talk about what also happened when you guys played Dallas the other day?
We lost, but the media hypes up his penalty shot. He did nothing the whole game until the penalty shot. So like whatever. Also, the guy we traded him for has been pretty good. I do worry though that he's not going to re-sign because every insider has been saying he's going to try to get as much as he can in free agency, which makes a lot of sense for how well he's playing right now. But so my emotional state will go up and down, but hockey season has begun, and I'm not the only one here. Like it would be not right if I didn't say yesterday I got a text from Jumba at 5:17 p.m. and he said, "We're so cooked, bro," and then he said, "Never mind, Tavares the GOAT," in the same minute. So I'm not the only one. Right? Like it's not. I would also like to update the people. I have not had a Costco hot dog since the last episode. I ate, I think, 9 in a 3-day period. I have not had another one, so I am a lot healthier. I did gain weight.
Shockingly.
Have you got one of the $1 hot dogs from Costco? Like that you
I got
actually like
that,
get there
but-
when you're in there, you order them and you buy one?
Yeah, it was like I got those, but like packaged, and I brought
I didn't know
them
you
home.
could get those packaged.
Yeah, and they
I
came
don't think
in
you
like.
gotta get one from there though. You have like the
I
proper.
I
Costco
love getting them
bun.
from there,
Yeah,
but
the
like
Costco
these
bun.
ones that I brought home, dude, they were so good. And the worst part though was Caitlin packed me a lunch one day for work, and I opened it in front of everybody, and it was just one hot dog in a plastic bag. I got fried for that. That was a tough look for your boy.
In a plastic bag, not even a container.
Yeah. It was just a plastic bag. And then when my
bag
coworker
is
was like,
crazy.
"You got one shaboing boing?" I was like, I guess I got one shaboing boing. That was all I got.
No
but yeah,
bun.
so
No bun.
I had a bun. She put a bun in a
okay.
separate plastic bag. That was the weird
That's
part.
fine. No, that's actually normal because then after it gets soggy if they sit together. But
that's
like,
actually a good call.
I thought you got literally just a Ziploc bag with one hot dog, no bun.
Yeah.
No
well, then
bun,
she
no
said
utensils, no
I
nothing.
put extra snacks in there. It was a fruit snack and then an apple. So like there,
That's
I
fine.
guess there's technically.
Hey, if you don't like it, make your own lunch. If you don't like
No,
it,
I
make
know,
your own
I know.
lunch.
I'm just saying. It was one shaboing boing, and I was just
There was
I had to
people in
go.
the
I had to go
Discord-
get some extra food, though. I did
There's-
have to go get some more.
There's people worried in the Discord that your Halloween costume was going to be a Costco hot
It
dog.
should be.
No,
What the fuck?
Which we can't confirm it's not.
Confirm it's not. I am going to be Mermaid Man for the Halloween party coming up this Saturday, and I should have picked the small. I bought the medium because I thought, who knows? Like maybe I fit a medium now. Didn't. I mean, the shorts are just out. I could put the picture of me wearing it in the pod. The shorts are out there, and I wish I would have. I wish I would have got the small. I probably should have got the small, but that's okay. That's
Just
okay.
get a few more Costco hot dogs. You can probably fit in those mediums better.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something because the shorts are just flaring out, and I do not look like a superhero whatsoever, which is not good. It's not good for the costume
Mermaid
contest
Man
at Will.
doesn't really look like a.
I was going to say,
Okay, but when he was younger, he definitely did. And I'm trying to look like a young mermaid man.
Okay, if you specify, then yeah, you might be cooked.
Yeah. Caitlin will be Barnacle Boy, so
Shut up.
we're cooking over here. I tried to get Kira to be Gary the Snail. She didn't like the outfit. Then I tried to get Adley to be Gary the Snail. She didn't want to do it either. So we don't have Gary the Snail. But I wanted that to be a possibility.
Just gotta
it's
make
not
sure you
gonna
have the
happen.
invisible boatmobile and you'll be good. So
Kira decided to be Elmo, but she hates her outfit, so we bought it for nothing. So it's just, it's just, I mean, it is what
She
it is.
should have been a cup.
She should have been a cup.
It
She
should
should have
have
been
put
just
cup.
dirt. She should have just been
Just
dirt.
been
She would
dirt.
have loved that outfit. For the first time in a long time, I caught her trying to eat dirt today.
No.
It was
It's
it's been a
back.
long
Was it good
time.
or bad dirt?
It was
Past
more
the dirt. Like
it was more
PI
like
dirt?
mud because it has rained yesterday. So
Okay.
yeah, but it was like kind of like compact. Like it wasn't just
Mhm.
like, and I think maybe that's her specialty, I guess. But I put the kibosh on that. I stopped that in time. So
Treat her for like a Costco
Pre or
Sheboygan
post consumption?
she had it. She literally had just gotten it to the lips. And I was like, no. And then she grabbed it and she threw it. Which was, I thought that was funny.
boy. Just fucking,
I don't know who taught her this. She's just been throwing things all the time. Like
you thought of this. You're
Like, when
always talking
she-
about sports.
it might be that, but she just throws things all the time. Like you'll be like, hey, can you hand me this? And she'll just chuck it. Or like when she wants to give you something, she'll just throw it at you. But she gets close enough to you and then just throws it. Instead of just
Huge.
dropping it in the hand, we had to go through a whole lesson where I just like grabbed her hand and just put it
Future
right there on my hand to
Broncos
be like,
QB?
this is how you transfer, huh?
Future Broncos QB.
I mean, it might line up perfectly for when Bo Nix's career comes to an end. I think
Yeah, she might just be a passing QB. She may just not ever want to hand
Yeah.
off the rock. So I mean,
Which
you
is
might be
good.
onto something.
which is good.
Yeah,
A field general
yeah.
distributes the wealth on the football field. Could be great. Could be great. All right. Well, ladies and gents, that should just about
No,
do it for this
Enoch.
week's episode of.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you did yours already.
No,
No,
said
he
you
passed
guys-
it
No,
to
I said
you.
you-
Oh.
I mean, to be fair, mine is going to be incredibly short this time.
Okay.
I'm going to
All
mix
right.
it up. Two things. Don't be afraid to try something new.
Okay.
Second thing, always believe in your ability to be successful.
I need
Those
you
are
to
two
hear
good
that.
ones.
That's
That's
it.
it. Any explanation?
hear
No
that.
explanation.
Nah,
Just
very
that's it?
vague.
Love it.
He's leaving it vague.
We love it.
Always try
There's a
something
veil
new.
around it.
Stop playing Sparrow.
No, I do not use mad fun.
I figured
Mad
Maggie
fun.
was gonna be the second one too.
But this, nothing to do Apex
No, I'm
related
teasing, I'm teasing.
specifically. Yeah. But outside of that, I did have a fantastic. I rarely ever take time off, as most people know. But I did take some time off and went on a little family vacay, and out into like a little house up on a mountain in Georgia, and so that was pretty fire.
That's sweet.
And hopefully at some point in my life I'll be able to do that more often. But also like the grind's the grind, and so gotta put in that work.
That's right.
Very
That
nice.
is right. Well, ladies and gents, that should just about do it for the show. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode, and shout out to Don for hopping on the pod. It was a great time with him. Now we've got a long wait between now and champs. It's going to be a while. We do have some other things coming up that we can talk about, and then we could probably get into some fun stuff. It might be a little bit more sporadic as we get ready for champs, but we're going to be trying to get back into the weekly grind like we have been throughout most of Pro League, and we'll be trying to get episodes out. Maybe more interviews, I think, in the off season now that the players don't have as much going on. So just keep your eyes peeled for that. We should be going live with a lot more episodes coming up here, getting ready for Japan. Long way to go, but we're going to be waiting for it. So thank you guys for tuning in as always. We'll catch you guys soon for another episode of the Apex Podcast. See ya.
See ya.